Gathering on this Shabbat to offer praise and worship to your great name. I wholeheartedly give thanks to you, Yahweh, and the council of the upright and the assembly. For you are Yah, and there is none like you, there's none greater than you. We thank you for providing us with life, health, strength of body, mind, and spirit. To be able to gather as a congregation on this day, in this place that you have established for us. You provided our bodies with healing, strength of mind. You've given us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We ask you today that you would come in and fill this building with your Ruach. Let the worship and let the teacher be inspired by your spirit. Let us leave this place today with a greater understanding of you and who you are. And to that I say, Amen. I lift my hands, I lift my voice in worship unto you, Yahweh. I give my heart, I give my soul and praise unto you, Yahweh. It's my desire of honor. May our worship be pleasing unto you, Yahweh. It is you that I love. It is you that I want. Yahweh. Be pleasing unto you, Yahweh. It is you that I love. It is you that I want. It's you that I need, Yahweh.
Yes. We will seek ye first. We will seek ye first, Yahweh. You will hear our voices early in the morning and late in the night. We will sing your praises, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. We will seek ye first, Yahweh. You will hear our voices early in the morning and late in the night. We will sing your praises, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. Here we go. May I praise arise as is Yahweh. May I worship thee, a fragrance, Yahweh, to you. We will seek ye first, Yahweh. You will hear our voices early in the morning and late in the night. We will sing your praises, hey, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. May our praise arise as is Yahweh to you. May our worship be a fragrance, Yahweh, to you. May our praise arise as it is Yahweh to you. May our worship be a fragrance, Yahweh, to you. We will seek you first, Yahweh. You will hear our voices early in the morning and late in the night. We will sing your praises, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. Offering our lives to you as a holy sacrifice. Yeah, yeah. Offering our lives to you as a holy sacrifice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's right, that's right, that's right. I love Yahweh. I love him so much for all that he stands for, all that he gives us. And I have to give it to him, man. He's got some serious patience. Because I know it's not by purpose that we fall short. I think sometimes we find ourselves in situations that we could rethink how we could have approached that situation. And I say that because I have a small little testimony, and I was in traffic last week and going somewhere, and this car kept bobbing and weaving, getting in front, bobbing and weaving, getting in front, bobbing and weaving, and just irritating me. So when I finally got up to her, I rolled my window, and then I was like, "What are you doing?" Ah, blah, 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 blah. And she had her phone going like this. So I was like, "Oh, she's recording me." And I felt so embarrassed. And I said, "Father, oh my goodness, I am so sorry for letting this thing get a hold of me." And I said, my reaction could have been much better, like keep my window up and mind my business. But I say that because we do things in the natural. I mean, we are in this world. And I know it's hard to be 100%. But once you've recognized you failed in something, it's your responsibility to ask the Father, "You know what? I'll do better next time. Please, please accept my apologies. And please don't let that go viral." You know, because I watch them on TikTok, folks acting a fool. And I don't want to be tagged, hashtag acting a fool on the freeway. So I said, "Father, please forgive me. I will do better." And I know there's someone out there who feels they fall short, and when you fall short, you feel there's no room for forgiveness. Hold your head up high. For through his grace and his mercy, he has offered us that ability to say, "I am sorry. I am sorry. I will do better. I will be a better representation of what you are, Yahweh. For your spirit does live in me." You and I are one. He is mine, and I am his. And I just wanted to pass that on to someone who may think, just because you fall short, come on, he's given us an opportunity to make that correct. So I wanted to share that with someone. Loving kindness is what I need. Your grace and mercy is what I need, yeah. Reign and dwell with you is what I need. To feel your presence, come on, is what I need. Here we go. I offer you Come on. Your loving kindness, come on, is what I need. Your grace and mercy is what I need. Hey, to reign and dwell with you is what I need. To feel your presence is what I need. Here we go. I offer you my worship. I offer you my praise. I offer you my faithfulness. I offer you my life you made. Here we go. Touch my eyes, so I can see. Touch my ears, so I can hear. Hey, touch my soul, so I can heal. Touch my heart, so I can feel. Yeah, I offer worship. I offer you my praise. I offer you my faithfulness. I offer you come on, we say hallelujah. Hey, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Testify, Sean. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shalom, shalom, shalom. See,
Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov has been gracious to us in these times. We're confronted with all kind of deviousness. The political climate is not favorable to Hebrew Israel, but yet and still we stand as a people. We gather with understanding of His divine word, and He helps us to come to a place of knowing knowledge. While the religious world functions in a state of belief, they believe, Hebrew Israel's in a whole different place. Once we come to understand who He is, we stop believing. Ooh, they stop believing. And that's because we transition from believing to a place of knowing. There's a difference in believing and knowing. There's a difference in hoping and knowing. You see, when we walk in the principles that the Most High has given us to walk in, and we learn who He is, how He functions, then we're no longer in a hope mode. We're in a place now where we know that because of His word and because of our understandings of walking with Him, we come to understand and know that the Most High is awesome and that what He has spoken in His word, He will do. Well, our teacher's coming to us again today. Ambassador Appleton is going to come and continue the study here in Hebrew study in Shemuel chapters 13 and 14. Why don't you receive him as he comes?
It is good to be back with all of you one more week. The Most High has blessed us, and the word blessed is used in its right vernacular. Blessed, because we have blessings in multiplicity here with Yahweh. Without any further ado, I want to acknowledge the Most High and all that I do and all that I am. The Most High has graced us with His mitzvot. I acknowledge the fact that the Most High Yahweh created all things. That all of you would today see the Most High through my transparency to the oneness who created everything from nothingness. Don't look at the person in the chair. Honor the chair. Do you know what I mean when I say that? We are only vessels for the Most High. The person sitting in the chair is a steward of what the Most High has ingratiated upon us. So when it comes time to evaluating what that person is saying, we do it by the eyes and the lens of the Most High. We honor the chair, not the person in the chair. Okay? So I acknowledge Yahweh HaSofet El Shaddai, your Elohim, Yahweh, here in this house. Ibrahim. Give Yahweh a round of applause. To our ambassador, head ambassador, my mentor, friend. Sound like an old Baptist preacher, friend. I say Shabbat Shalom to him today. I also want to give a shameless plug. If you haven't gone to Amazon and purchased his book he's authored called In Defense of the Messiah, you need to scurry on over there. Check it out. Pick yourself up a copy. It's on what the young people would say, some next level. Shut your mouth. And to our ambassador, Kevin Holman. Make sure you go over to iTunes and check out his stuff. It is what Dylan calls hot like fire. I'm going to do one last shameless plug before I acknowledge the dignitaries that are in the house with us. There is a calendar that's out. I'm not going to do this a couple more times. Just so you know, because we're at the top of our year. Matter of fact, Hebrews, or I should say Ha'Ibrahim. What happened this past week? Very good. The new month started. The new month started on what day? Started on what we call Monday. The new month started. So we're currently now in our second month of the year of the Ivri. Okay? Go on over. Matter of fact, I'm going to put my information up here. If you want one of those calendars, that is where you need to email in order to get your calendar. We are trying to produce content out of this house that is beyond measure, that has not been seen before, in truth and in sincerity. So, without any further ado, I got to acknowledge one more group of people before I start today. That group of people is whom? Come on. Those who decide they want to abandon the mitzvot and not honor the Most High's ways. We call them wrongdoers. Okay? All you individuals out there that do not want to acquiesce to the Most High's mitzvot that have tuned in today, Shabbat Shalom to you. Hopefully there's something that's said today that will edify you and get you closer or bring you to the understanding of the Most High. Now to the dignitaries that are in the room, who all got their cameras up like this. What Kevin gets done just talking about, she was getting ready to film me. 4, Yahweh's exiled empire here in the house today. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We're in the house. Let's get ready to ride. We are. I need my time. We are in the book of Shemuel. First Shemuel. And we are going to continue with this. Sometimes when you're doing certain things up here, sometimes you got to shake the tree. I got to shake the tree a little bit, okay? Can I shake the tree? There is an ambassador in the back that needs to push a button. I need to shake the tree. And I've been going for 2 hours. I'm like, huh? It's good when we can come together and laugh and have a good time and be in the midst of the Most High. Again, I am Ambassador Sean Appleton. We're going to continue our study of Shemuel chapters 13 and 14. I did all of 13 last week. I'm going to expound upon chapter number 14 this week. But I would be remiss of me if I didn't just do a brief overview of 13. So to bring everybody back up to speed if you've missed out. And then also what we're going to end up doing is, again, an in-depth study of 14. So what we found in just an overview of 13 was King Shaul, or Melech, if you want to use the Ibrir way of thinking, assembles the EOI, the Empire of Israel, to wage war against the Philistine. And in 14, what we have is in 1 Samuel 14, Melech Shaul ben is the word for son, initiates a battle against the Philistine, and the Empire of Israel saved Yehonatan from Melech Shaul's oath. Now, is there anything before I get into 13 that you guys took away last week when we talked? Anybody? Anybody? I didn't do a good enough job last week. Oh boy, nobody. Nothing, you didn't get anything out of last week? Okay, well, all right. Jeez, I feel about 2 feet tall right now, but that's okay. Let's go over a brief overview of 13 and then go right into 14, okay? Chapter 13, we talked about and we dismantled, again, this issue of making sure that you understand what rendering you're reading. Because it starts out and it says what? That Melech Shaul started his reign when he was, in some instances, it says 30 years old. And we went through the mitzvot, and we proved by the mitzvot that that was incorrect. If you have a rendering that tells you that, that is an incorrect rendering, because we know that he has a son that is in the military. The military only allows individuals that are 20 years old and up. He can't be 10 years old when he has his first son. It's just not plausible. So we use the mitzvot to prove the mitzvot. So this is the thing that when we were in Christianity was so difficult for us when we were trying to examine the Old Testament, is what they call it, and use it in their vernacular. We use the Masoretic text. But why? Because they were looking at it through the lens of a Christian. We're looking at this through the lens of an Ibrir. Okay? I like that word, Ibrir. You know why I like it? I'm going to give you something that I just saw as I was looking at it. Let me write on this board real quick. Let me write up here. You ready for this? Here we go. We've been using that term this whole entire time, and we didn't know, or at least what I saw, was your ancestor's name in the middle. If you use the Haitian or the Creole vernacular, that is the word that they use, Hébreu, for the word Hebrew. We've been using the term, and it continues to keep pointing back to your ancestor, who had sons, Shem, Noach, Avraham, all the way down. We went over what? That word means the people that have traveled far. They were in the Mesopotamian area where the Tigris and Euphrates River is, and they migrated from the Ur of Chaldeans. That's what's said about your ancestor Avram. That's what the word means, the people who have traveled a far distance. So it's right when it says, go get Avram, the Ibir, the one who has traveled far. Okay? So we talked about that a little bit. In verse 3, we find out what? That Yehonatan assassinates the governor. It's interesting in the text, I want to draw something to your attention as we go through 14, that nowhere in this text do I see in the precursor of the text, from verse 1 all the way down to verse 2, where it says that the Most High, or there was some type of battle plan devised, or Melech Shaul told Yehonatan to go kill the Philistine governor. He seems to be acting on his own by doing this. Keep that thought in mind. We're going to come back. It's going to come back up again. Okay? And I'm going to make a point with that, is that the Most High is actually using Yehonatan, using him as a pawn in this chess game that he's setting up for his successor, Melech Shaul's successor, which is Melech David. Okay? But I'm going to show you that. So, As we went through 13, we understood that Shaul took the credit for the assassination of the governor. So it's kind of showing you his character. The Philistines had assembled themselves together to make war, and there were 3,000 chariots. The men of Israel saw they had limited options and felt hard pressed, and they hid themselves in caves. That is a good point to remember as we go into 14. As they hid themselves in caves. Point I'm trying to make here is that the influence of them going and being hiding in caves is the influence of the Most High. That's going to come up. I'm going to prove that statement in 14. They're not leaving. They are scared. But that motivation of fear is being pushed by the Most High. Okay? Because it's going to come up again. We see them hiding because of all of the Philistines that are there. In verse 9, we see that, or at least backing up in verse 8, Shemuel tells Shaul to go down to Gilgal and wait for me there 7 days. When he didn't show up, when he wanted him to show up, he decided he wanted to step into the role of a Kohanim and go ahead and sacrifice. You see all these mitzvot that are jumping out at you. We prove the text by the mitzvot. That's the lens that we look at this through. So we know that there's a mitzvot that says, hey, the only way, matter of fact, we're going to go through it. That's when we went to Devarim chapter 20. And I want to go through Devarim chapter 20 right now. I'm going to read it from start to finish because we're going to need all of it today. We cannot do 13 and 14 without Moshe. We got to tag him along. All right? Not together, but follow with me, please. When you go out to fight your enemies, these are all the mitzvot on war. When you go out and fight your enemies and see horses, chariots, and a force larger than yours, is that not what happened in 13? Okay. You are not to be afraid of them. Because who? Yahweh, your El, who brought you up from the land of Mitzrayim, is with who? You. Very good. I'm going to do this the whole entire time to make sure y'all following along with me. I know this. We're going to read it together. When you are about to go into battle, the Kohen is to come forward and address the people. He should tell them, listen, Yisrael, you are about to do battle against your enemies. Don't be frightened or afraid. Don't be alarmed or frightened by them, because who? Your El is going to fight, is going with you to fight on your behalf against your enemies and give you the victory. 5. Then the officials will speak to the soldiers. Before we go any further, we've got everything that we need to understand here. When it shows up, when your enemies, see, this is when I want to go ahead and I want to run across the stage, but that's going to come up in another part later on, okay? Because I'm giving these Christian pastors something right now to go ahead and take your next sermon from. When your enemies come and do battle against you, you need not be afraid because it's called cherry picking. It's called springboarding. It's very easy to do. All you need is just a sprinkle of charisma, a loud microphone, and some Sprite, and some sugar. 5. Then the officials will speak to the soldiers. They are to say, is there a man here who has built a new house but hasn't dedicated it yet? He should go back home now. Come on, Sister Teresa. Otherwise, he may die fighting, and another man will dedicate it. Sister Harless in the back brought to my attention last week that says, over in the New Testament, there was a situation that came up where the people, they were asking them about doing some battle, and they gave them these excuses why they couldn't go. And over in the Christian church, they sat up there and they said, well, look at these excuses these weak folk have. No, babies. What they were doing was quoting the mitzvot. But since you were ignorant of them, you thought they were excuses weak and ineffective. Okay. See, all right. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. That's another one. Matter of fact, we're going to get a tip jar going over here for all the sermons I'm getting ready to give y'all today. 6. Is there a man here who has planted a vineyard but hasn't made use of its fruit? He should go back home. Otherwise, he may die fighting and another man will use it. Is there a man here who is engaged to a woman but hasn't married her? Engaged to a woman. 2023. Not to a man. Engaged to a woman. So don't go putting quasi-bi, whatever y'all want to put in there. The alphabet club up in there. It says a woman. But hasn't married her yet. He should go back home, otherwise he may die fighting and another man will marry her. There is a Melech that's going to violate that bad boy. He's going to use it to his advantage. No, you are the man. 8, the officials will then add what they have said to the soldiers. Is there a man here who is afraid and faint-hearted? He should go back home, otherwise his fear will demoralize his comrades as well. When the officials have finished speaking with the soldiers, commanders are to be appointed to lead the army. 10, when you advance on a town to attack it, let's go slow with this. This is going to come up. When you advance on a town to attack it, first offer them terms of peace, shalom. If it accepts the terms for peace and opens its gates to you, then all the people there are to be put to forced labor and work for you. However, if they refuse to make peace with you and prefer to make war against you, you are to put it under siege. When who? Your El hands it over to you, you are to put every male to the sword. Nobody, that's a male, is to live. However, you are to take as booty yourself, the women, the little ones, the livestock, and everything in the city, all its spoils. I'm going to read that one more time because this mitzvot is going to come up, because the Christian church has butchered this, because they have not applied this mitzvot to what's going to happen to King Shaul in 14. Let's go back. 14, however, you are to take as booty for yourselves, or treasure. Okay, if you don't want to use the word booty, for yourselves, the women, the little ones, the livestock, and everything in the city, all its spoils. Yes, you will what? Come on, I'm going to need that. I need everybody to enunciate that from your diaphragm. When we were in choir, and I used to sit and watch all of when I was in gospel choir in college, where I met my beautiful wife, and she swept me off my, okay. And I used to sit back and they said, when you sing, sing from your diaphragm. I need everybody to say this word that starts with an F. Here in this sentence, it says what? It says, yes, you will what? Feed on your enemy's spoil, which Yahweh your El has given you. This is what you are to do to all the towns which are a great distance from you, which are not the towns of these nations. As for the towns of these people, which Yahweh your El is giving you as your inheritance. The inheritance is established with Abraham. Okay? Go back and read it, how you can get your ticket punched for that. El is giving you your inheritance. You are not to allow anything that breathes to live inside that land. So we've dealt with towns that are outside the land. You offer them peace, and then if they don't and they want to wage war against you, then you kill all the males, and then you can collect on all the rest of the spoil. This is for when we're in the land. This is east of the Jordan and west of the Jordan, okay? In your territories. That's where 16 picks up. It says, as for the towns of these people which Yahweh your El has given you as an inheritance, you are not to allow anything that breathes to live. Rather, you must destroy them completely. The Hittite, the Emori, the Kenani, the Pizari, the Hivi, and the Uvisi, as Yahweh, your El, has ordered you, so that they won't teach you to follow their abominable practices, which they do for their Els, thus causing you to sin against your Yahweh. When in making war against a town in order to capture it, you are to lay siege to it for a long time. You are not to destroy its trees, cutting them down with an axe. You can eat their fruit, so don't cut them down. After all, are the trees in the field human beings? Of course they're not. So that you have to besiege them too? However, if you know that certain trees provide no food, you may destroy them and cut them down in order to build siege works against the town, making war with you until it falls. So we went through 20, all of 20. We're going to use bits and pieces out of this. We'll refer back to it. Getting back to just doing a quick overview of 13, and we'll get through this pretty quick. Shemuel is confronted by whom other than Shemuel, and he says, what have you done? You've gone ahead and you violated the mitzvot. You've acted in the office of a priest. That is not good. He calls him a fool, which is an appropriate term because we all know that a fool is a person that knows mitzvot and decides not to do them. Very good. So he goes down, Shemuel in 15, left Gilgal and went up to Givat Binyamin. That's where he's from. He's from the tribe of Benjamin. His hometown is the town of Givat. The men that were left with him were 600 of them. Now, I want to have a little bit of fun with this because later on as we get down, matter of fact, as we finish out that chapter, we find out that starting in 20, that there is an issue in the land of it's Yisrael, that they couldn't go down to the Philistine and get their tools sharpened because it cost too much. What did they do? They disarmed them. So if they ever wanted to wage war against them, they would have to fight and lose because they're not using any weapons. I want to let you guys understand, so I'm going to steal my own thunder. I wanted to save this until later, but I'm wanting to put it out now. King Shaul has 600 men, y'all. 600. We're talking about thousands against the Philistine, okay? 600. Take the Navy. Take the Marines, which is the land version of the Navy. And you take the best of the best of the best out of that. That's who Shaul had. And you know how cold-blooded these folks are? I don't even want to look at this gentleman in the back because he's going to be smiling in the ear when I say this. You want to know how cold-blooded it is? They said, listen, don't come to a gunfight with a knife. Don't come to a gunfight with a knife. These folk don't have swords. They have rocks. Which is what? A projectile weapon. Your Hebrews, see, you look at it like, oh, it's just primitive because they're using a sling. Or then they're using something else or a spear to kill whatever they're trying to kill. These are projectile weapons. These are guns going to a knife fight. Who do you think is going to win just flat out? Come on. Realize who you're dealing with. And that's not even the best part. You know what the best part of that whole entire thing is? Oh, when you go out to fight your enemies and see horses, chariots, and a force larger than yours, you are not to be afraid because Yahweh, your El, will fight for you. 14. Oh, I'm not ready to go there yet. 14. I'm already going to tell you right now. We're going to have fun, and I'm going to have to beg for the forgiveness of our head teacher because I'm already knowing you might see me again next week. 14 is 50 some odd verses, and we just now getting started. And we got a long way to go. Ibrir. 14, let's read it. It says, one day who? Yehonatan and his son Shaul, the son of Shaul, not his son, but the son of Shaul, said to the young man carrying his armor, come, let's go across the garrison of the Philistine on the other side. Does that sound familiar? We just said a second ago that we didn't know why in the world Yehonatan had the gumption to go kill the Philistine governor. And now out of the blue, all of a sudden, it's time to go across the garrison just with you and your armor bearer? Paro, do you think that you are saying what you're saying because you think you're doing it? I would contend that the Most High is influencing Yehonatan to do what he's doing right now. We already have precepts and texts that tell us that when our master teacher Moshe went in front of Paro, he already told him what Paro was going to say. He said, I'm going to harden his what? His heart. I'm going to influence Paro. That's not him talking. I'm going to prove to you in a second, right now, that Kevin R. Holman wasn't under the influence of himself, because the way this is set up right now ties directly into what's happening here in this text. I had no idea that it was happening. Comes to me and he says, hey, you're on the floor. You need to put that podium up there and make some space for what's going on. I said, that's a great idea. And then last week, as I taught up here and I was so excited, our head teacher came to me and he said, you did a good job, but you need to stop running suicides up there. You see, I'm not moving as fast. I'm going slower for a reason. Because I looked at also the video and he was 1,000% correct. This video team is like, what in the world is going on? Would you stay in one place? Your professionals will teach you something. Those that are wise in game are going to show you what you need to know. That's going to come up again with Shaul. Shaul is going to go through the same thing. And I'm going to bring that out once we get to it. Okay? Point being, he's not under the influence of himself. The Most High is using Yehonatan to go ahead and have this unction to go across this garrison. It says, but he didn't tell his father. Why is that important? Because in 13, we found out that Yehonatan had an army of people with him, about 1,000, and Melech Shaul had 2,000 with him. Eli, the Cohen of Yahweh in